Okay, guys, am I audible? Wonderful. Right. So first, let me open the notes and try. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. First, let me get started with this. Our notes will be in the blog by 11 o'clock Indian time in this website. So for the classroom notes, you will see a section called as virtual machines on the top with today's date in here. So I'm giving you this link in your chat message. Okay. And also I'll try to give the website's details. Ensure that you bookmark it so that I don't repeat this every day. Our classroom notes will be shared over here. Whatever I write in the classroom, whatever I draw in the classroom, if any of that information is useful, that will be posted over here. You will see a section at this place. Okay then. So let us get started with virtual machines. Okay. So yesterday we have discussed that Azure will have something called as region. And in that region, Azure will have huge data centers, right, with servers. In some of the regions, what might happen is they might have a concept called as zone. They might have a concept called as zone, right? But if I basically look at the individual location where you have servers, typically what happens is you will have a rack. You will have a rack. Okay. So I can show you a rack over here, data center rack. So are you saying this is how racks look like? I'm quite sure many of you might have seen it, but for the people who have not seen it, you will have racks, and in this rack you will have positions, and at every position you can fit in. At every position you can basically fit in your server, physical server. This is how every data center will be organized. The story is no different to Azure. In Azure also you will have racks. Okay. So these are racks. And inside these racks, you will have physical servers. Okay. Inside these racks, you will have physical servers. So let me do it in this way. And I don't want to draw it every time. So yes. So these are all the physical servers on the Azure. Okay. And I will try to draw the same thing over here. There might be a little bit more, but I'm just trying to draw a little bit less. Okay. Am I clear now? So Azure is going to have data center, and in each data center, they are going to have racks, and in the racks, they will have physical servers. And now on top of this rack, what they have is they will have okay a switch, a network switch. For the people who come from the database or the networking or a data center background, generally we tend to call this as top of the rack switch. Okay, but it's okay. So from this switch, you will have network connections to every machine. So I'm drawing all of that in green color, but it doesn't mean that it has to be in green. So your physical servers get network connections from this location. Okay, the same thing happens over here also. So these are all your network connections. Okay, I think I missed one location. Right, fine. And then there is one interesting server. Okay, one interesting server which Azure adds in every rack. This server is called as Fabric Controller. This server is called as Fabric Controller. This is a physical server, and the software which it has inside it, or basically it is called as a Fabric Controller. I think I've made myself clear. In Azure, there will be racks. Racks will have servers. For each rack, we will have a switch, and then we will have a special server which is called as Fabric Controller. Okay. Mani, let us please focus to what it is right now. If there is any need for layer 2 switch, I'll speak about this at this moment. At this moment, there is no need for you to understand that. Okay, right, fine then. So basically, we'll have a rack. Rack will have servers, and these are the servers which we use as a consumers, as a cloud users, because we want to run something. We want to create our applications. So when we want to create our applications, we might need virtual machines. So all of that might be created on these servers. But in the rack, we'll have a switch, and then we'll have Fabric Controller. Whatever is in black is a server which can create virtual machines. Now, let me use some other color. Let me use brown. There is one more interesting thing that happens, that is called as orchestrator. We'll have something called as orchestrator. Okay, and then what should I use? Yeah, I think this should be fine. Okay, so this is Azure website, which I will be calling it as Azure portal. Okay, right. Azure CLIR PowerShell. Okay. So we'll have an orchestrator, right? And in front of this orchestrator, we'll have some API. Okay. Now, whenever you're using Azure, basically what you tend to do is from portal or from CLI, you try to do something. Whatever you do will reach this API. Whatever you do will reach this API, right? And this API basically interacts with this orchestrator. This orchestrator will know every fabric controller that is running inside a data center, and it will assign a work to one of the fabric controller, saying that okay, this user wants a virtual machine now, and now okay, a virtual machine of your choice is basically created in one of these physical servers. So what happens? We have every Azure data center is full of servers, and servers are organized into racks. Every rack will have physical servers which are used for user workloads, right? So now whenever you want to access anything, basically you have to understand that there are two important components for every rack. One is fabric controller, the other one is switch. So orchestrator can speak with fabric controller. So now let us assume that you want an SQL database for some reason, right? So what Azure does is from portal or from CLI, you will make a request. That request will go to orchestrator. Now, orchestrator might find that okay, this is a better fabric controller, and this fabric controller will decide that this machine, this physical server at the bottom is a better one for SQL server. Now, you will have your SQL server running over here. Am I clear on this? This is how Azure runs at a low level data center. At a low level data center, we have softwares which are basically fabric controller and orchestrator, which are written and controlled over by APIs. Controlled over by APIs. Am I clear on this so far? Right? What fabric controller do in the racks? Fabric controller will try to find out what is the better server in that physical rack for running your workload. Okay. How to choose which one is better? That is actually orchestrator's headache. Okay. API is abbreviation. API is called as application programmers interface. Okay. So that is a way where how to communicate from different applications to your stuff. Okay. Are we clear on this? Do we have any doubts on this so far? Do we have read and write access to API and orchestrator? No, sir. You just have an access to portal. In your portal, based out of your user, you might have some permissions. Only when your permissions are valid, then those will be forwarded to orchestrator. Okay. Do we have an option to manage multiple apps on this physical server? So Srikanth, I have been telling this, I think even in the essential classes I have said, but if this is your first class, you will never have a control on physical layers of Amazon or Azure or any cloud for that matter, because you are a cloud consumer, you are not a cloud service provider, right? Can we be able to create APIs in Azure? No, you can use them. Okay, use them and create whatever you want on your own. That's how it works. Wonderful. So if someone asks how is Azure working, this is how Azure works, right? So Azure, whenever you make a request from portal or CLI, will go through API to an orchestrator, and from there to a fabric controller, and fabric controller decides what is a better physical server in the track to create a workload. As simple as that. Okay. Everything will be decided which software on the VM. Any choice which, see, whatever is offered in Amazon or Azure will work in the same way. In the same way. Let it be database, let it be a virtual machine or whatever it is. Okay. First, let me preserve this image. For the people who are new to my class, I am just preserving this and I'll share this notes to you guys. So to do that, it would take a little bit of time. Yeah. Yes. ACVM1. Okay. How Azure works. So inside Azure data centers, servers are organized in racks. Each rack has a switch to enable the network connectivity to the physical server. There are other servers which are used to run cloud consumer, or in a simple terms, user workloads, whatever those workloads are. Each rack has a special server called as fabric controller. This is responsible for running the, I'm using the term called as workload. Okay. So the workload can be a virtual machine, workload can be a database. Okay. On the physical server in a rack. An orchestrator is responsible for allocating work to 1 minute to fabric controllers. When user operates Azure, the requests are requests, or I'll put it in this way, the valid requests, because if I'm not authorized, it will not reach there. The valid requests reach orchestrator via API, and then they get fulfilled. As simple as that. /images /acvm1.png. Okay. So for the people, the reason why I write it in this way is because when I generate a document out of it, it would look something like this. And this is what will be shared to you. Okay. So am I clear on this? Sounds interesting so far? Yeah. Is it a similar architecture in Amazon as well? Amazon, it might not be absolutely similar. It might not have exactly the same component names, but right, what they try to achieve is the same. Good. Right. And now virtualization for virtualization in Azure. Okay. So if you have seen in this image, we have physical servers, and on the physical servers, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create virtual machines. We are trying to create virtual machines. And the software that basically helps to create a virtual machine. To create a virtual machine is called as hypervisor. Is called as hypervisor. And let me see if I can find some icon for that. What is the most easiest one which I can fit in there and still look better? This is okay. This okay. So every server in your will have a hypervisor. Am I clear on this? All the servers in Azure will have a special software which is called as hypervisor, which helps in creating virtual machines. Okay. So Microsoft have not given what is the exact software which they use internally to do all of this. Okay. Right. So let me write even that. Every physical server on Azure will have a hypervisor. Okay. Azure has not specified the exact flavor of hypervisor which they use inside Azure. Okay. What Microsoft claims is Microsoft claims to have okay a hypervisor which is Hyper-V with some modifications. For the people who come from Windows admin world, there is already a hypervisor from Microsoft which is called as Hyper-V, which is called as Hyper-V. Microsoft claims to use the same thing, but what they also claim is it is not the exact version what you use in your servers. We have slightly remodified it. We have a different flavor of Hyper-V. So if someone asks what is the virtualization technology in Azure, you can say that it is Hyper-V, but it is not the same Hyper-V which we basically use. For example, if you are using any Windows server, or if you are using any Windows 10 non-home editions, you can enable Hyper-V, but that is a hypervisor which works on an operating system, and in Azure it is not exactly that. Okay, but it has taken some of the better parts from there. So am I clear on this? So on each physical server, we'll have a hypervisor. Okay, right. Sorry. Right. Now let me try to draw a legend also over here so that it is easier for you to understand. So this is hypervisor. This is Azure Virtual Machine. Okay. So this is physical server. Right. And anyway, rest of the components, I think I have named it. Okay. Fine. So let us use this as an image rather than the earlier one. Yeah. Fine. So am I clear on this? So Microsoft Azure works with lot of data center racks, right? So fine. What is the use of hypervisor? Hypervisor helps you in creating virtual machines. Hypervisor helps you in creating virtual machines, right? Yeah. So uh, even though it is abstraction, but still I'm asking you one question. How many of you people are attending this class? This is for how many of you this is your first class? You can just raise hands. I think you will have that symbol of raising a hand so that I can know how many of you have. Right. Okay. Okay. So what my request to you guys is, for the people for whom today is the first class, anyway you might have received a link from qualitythought.in. Okay. So for the last couple of weeks we have been speaking about cloud essentials. Okay. This is cloud essentials are something which can help you in understanding cloud better. Okay. So uh, you can go through them whenever you have a free time. So there we have spoken about what is cloud, how does the cloud work, right? Not only in terms of Azure but in terms of any cloud. Okay. Please write a mail to that and get those cloud essentials. They will be useful, and it is you need not finish them by tomorrow's class, but try to take your time, go through all of them. They are very simple to understand, and I would recommend that everyone in this classroom goes through that. Okay, in the next, at least let us put it in this way, and then by the next weekend you finish all of that. If you have already listened to those classes, wonderful. Okay then. Right. So now Azure account creation. Here I have to speak few challenges that are happening right now. What Microsoft claims is, Microsoft claims that there is a 775 percentage of increase in the usage of Azure during this from the point of coronavirus that has came into play. Many organizations are basically running workloads on Azure. Okay, so sometimes when you create virtual machines, they might be failed. Okay, because of your free accounts, but that is not because there is something wrong in your account. That is because of the workloads. Okay, but still, how do I create a Azure uh, account? So for that, okay, you can go to here. Okay, there is a YouTube video which is done by me, which speaks about creating a Azure free tier account. Okay, so for creating a Azure free tier account, you need a credit card in India, right? Or else what you can do is, if you have HDFC or these kind of accounts, you can create virtual cards there. and then use that virtual cards. Okay, if you know what I'm trying to tell. Okay, am I clear on this? This video can help you in basically go through this video. It is a very simple one. Okay, and also watch this. Watch here for account creation. Okay, so watch here for simple Azure VM creation. Okay, we will do it in the classroom, but I'm just giving you the links. Right. Okay, so this notes will be shared to you anyway, and tomorrow before coming to the class, I want you guys, everyone in this room, to have both of these things done. At least these two videos you should have watched. You should have watched. Right. Okay. Debit cards are not valid not in India, but in India they have some virtual debit cards, right? If you go to HDFC, they have a PayZapp virtual card. Some of the students have said that virtual cards are working. ICICI's debit card works, right? That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Right. Now let us have a Azure portal. Okay. First, the URL of the Azure portal is, okay. Let me put it in this way. https://portal.azure.com. Okay, and I would recommend, after you have created the account, you will obviously know that. Okay, and one more thing, I generally don't use this. I use Edge for portal. No specific reason, but I use it. Portal.azure.com. Okay. So when you create an Azure account, you can basically log in into your Azure. So for me, I have already been logged in because I have my account running in over here, and this is your playground. For some time, this is going to be your playground. Okay. So today, what I would recommend is, when you click on this button over here, this one. Okay. So you will see something called as all services. Select this all services, and then type something called as free. Type something called as free. And are you seeing the free services? Okay. So when you select them, basically you will find out what is free in Azure. What is free in Azure? Okay. So for example, we have 750 hours of Windows virtual machines and 750 hours of Linux virtual machines. We have some of the services which are basically free. So how do you do that? Okay. Go to all services, right? And once you select all services, then you select free services. Okay, right? All services and free services. Okay, let me put only that part over here. Okay, all right. AZVM 2. Okay, free services from Azure. Okay, right. So you can find out what is free. There are some services which are free for 12 months, and there are some services which are free throughout the lifetime. As long as your Azure account is valid, there are some services which are free. Okay, so go through this. There is nothing you need to do or create anything from this point of view. Okay, right. So fine. Okay, so let me go to home. Right. So in Azure, there are many services, but our discussion will start from virtual machines. Virtual machines in Azure. That is what we are going to discuss. Okay. So let us basically have VMs. Okay. Virtual machines in Azure. This is going to be our agenda mostly. And understand one thing, this is the most widely used service. Any organizations who are using cloud will basically get themselves equipped with virtual machines first. So, and there are many things to understand in virtual machines. There are many things to understand in virtual machines. The first thing which you decide while you are creating a virtual machine in Azure is, okay, so options for creating a VM in Azure. The first option which you have to select is, you have to select something called as operating system. What is an operating system which you want to basically select? And second one, machine size. Okay, we have spoken some of them in our essential classes, but it's okay. I'm just trying to write it. So username and password, or I will put it in this way, rather than calling it as username and password, I'll call it as credentials. Okay, and while you are creating the virtual machine, you should also tell which ports of your network will be, or which ports of your server or VM will be open. If you don't tell anything, all of your system will be basically closed. You will not be able to access your system. You will not be able to access your system. Okay, so these are the basic options which we worry about while creating a virtual machine. So what is your operating system? What is the machine size? What are the credentials which you are going to give? And what are the basic ports which you are going to create? Okay, along with that, okay, in Azure you have to tell, the first one is something called as location. Okay, this location is nothing but in which region do you want to create it. So I think in yesterday's demo we have basically looked at the whole map, and in that map there were different locations at which Microsoft has its presence. So you have to choose what is the location where you want to create it in. Okay, and then there is something which is called as resource group. Don't worry about all of these terms, we are going to drill down into each of them. Okay, when you are creating a VM in Azure, these are the things which are basically, these are the major things at least which you can select. There are many other options. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll basically show you the same thing. Okay, I'll go to all services, I'll go to free services. Okay, let us create a Linux machine. Let me click on Linux machine, which is free for me. Click on create. Okay, I have not explained the complete free plan also, but it's okay, right? Whatever you are doing today after you create an account will not charge you anything. Okay, so then here it says I said that we need a resource group, so create a new resource group, give some name. Okay, uh, you can call it as my first resource group. Okay, so then it is asking what is going to be your virtual machine's name. My virtual machine's name is Qt first VM. In which region do you want to create your virtual machine? There are many regions where you can create. Okay, but okay, right now you just see in this list and try to select. I'm selecting a central US. I'll speak about why we see only few regions. And then this is your operating system. Which operating system do you want to basically create? I want to create Ubuntu 16. Okay. And then he's asking for credentials. Do you want to go with username and key, or do you want to go with username and password? I want to go with username and password. So I'll give username as Qt DevOps, and password should be strong in the case of Azure. So try to set some strong password. Okay. Then it says which port should be opened for communication. As I said, if you basically you can put it as none. I don't want to open anything, but for connecting, okay, here I have messed up. Okay, for connecting to the Linux virtual machine, we need a 22 port to be opened. So we'll not worry about that. Okay, so next, there is something called as tags, but at this moment we might not know what these tags are. It's okay. Okay, for some of you, you know what the purpose of the tags are. Okay, then it is basically doing its first validation, saying that whether you are whatever details which you have provided are right or wrong. Then click on create. Done. Now wait for the Azure to do its job. So basically what has happened now, from the UI you have made a request. That request will reach through an API to orchestrator. Now orchestrator will find the right fabric controller in US, central US location. And once it finds the fabric controller, then fabric controller will allocate a virtual machine, or will create a virtual machine using the hypervisor present on a physical machine. That is exactly what is happening internally. Okay, so if you wait for some time, you will see the virtual machine being saying that it is ready. Okay, what is the switch or top of the rack switch? Every rack, okay, needs to be connected to the network. Okay, so for that purpose, each rack will be given a switch, and all the network connectivity to each of the server will be given by that switch. That is what the top of the rack switch is. So it says that, yeah, you are ready. Then are you saying go to resource? Okay, click on go to resource. Okay, so your machine is ready. Okay, so once your machine is ready, you can log in into this machine. Okay, so I'm just clicking on connect and SSH. Okay, so it says that if you basically want to connect to this, these are basically the commands that are available and all of that stuff. Okay, right. So don't worry about all of this. Okay, for today I'm not going to trouble you too much for the people who don't know what an SSH is. Okay, because I'll be giving you series of some education material which can help you in doing that. So I'll just show you how to connect to this machine. Don't worry about the softwares if you even don't have on your system. So I think the username was Qt DevOps. Okay, then it is asking for password. Okay, that's it. This is exactly what it is. This is exactly what it is. Okay, so don't worry about even logging in into your machine. I'm not even worried about that. Okay, so tomorrow I'll give you some more links. I don't want to overwhelm you with information on day one. Okay, so today what is the stuff which I want you to do is, I want you to explore this. Even if you don't create a virtual machine, absolutely fine with me. Okay, so once you have done all of your work, let us assume that you have created a virtual machine also. In that cases, okay, remember we have created a resource group. We have created a resource group. Select your resource group, whatever you have created. My first resource group. Okay. And once you have finished your work, delete this resource group, because it will delete whatever you have created. So I'm basically saying my first resource group, you have to type the name and then click on delete. Okay, because there is no point of having a machine. Why do you want to burn your free time if you are not using the machine, if you are not aware of the details of the virtual machine? All right, so while selecting the virtual machine, we will be basically giving the operating system, size of the machine, credentials, which port to open, location, and then there is something called as resource group. Okay, we will get into each of the details, but I don't want to stress too much. Are we clear with this image now? Are we clear with this image now? Now, whenever I did something on Azure portal, it goes through an API, it goes through orchestrator. Orchestrator will find a fabric controller which is suitable for whatever you have asked, and that fabric controller will basically select one physical machine. On that physical machine, it will use a hypervisor to create the virtual machine. Clear? Wonderful. So I don't want to go beyond this for today. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll give you some more links which you can basically do. So I'll put it in this way. I'll give a link of this channel. You might not require everything over here, but let me go to playlists. Okay, so I'm sorry for this. Okay, or let me give the link to this one. Okay, so if you basically go to directdevops.blog, you will be seeing these social icons. If you click on this YouTube icon, you will be taken to the YouTube's site. Okay, this is my channel, and here you have how to connect to a Linux shell from Windows, what is shell and terminal. I'll be adding some basic content also. Even if you don't know the stuff, we will try to make you at least I'll try to make the relevant information over here so that it is simple for you guys. So ensure that you are connected to all of these links. There are various different sources from which you get a little pieces of knowledge, and unfortunately or fortunately, every piece of knowledge is important for your career. Okay, right. So now how would we sir, how would be the job openings after this corona? Some people are telling, yes, Maidar, there will be a recession, there is no doubt. Unfortunately there will be a recession, and for us, so we need to be prepared a little bit more, a little bit more. The reason for that is now you should be able to do multi-skill, or you should be able to do a little bit more than what you used to, you were expected to do couple of weeks or couple of months ago. Okay, so that's the reason what I am trying to do from my side to help you guys is I'll be adding enough content, even though it is difficult, into this curriculum so that you guys are ready for it. But the only thing which I want as a promise from you people is, if you are enrolled to this, take it seriously, right? Otherwise, don't even worry about it. So try to do something else. Let it be Azure, let it be AWS, or let it be DevOps. Generally, this time I have decided that I will be taking, generally we are already one step further when you compare our curriculum with any others. I want to make it one more step so that it is easier for you to get jobs. But course will be difficult. I am okay with course being difficult and life being simple. Yeah, that's the whole idea. Maida, does it make sense? Yeah, okay, okay. So I'll stop this discussion at this. Let us not overwhelm with information. Okay, I'll make enough resources available for you, and let us see how the things go on. Can you recommend some sites where I find latest news from Azure? The most easier thing, Sagar, is since you have a Facebook account or a social media account, go and register to Microsoft Azure. You will get official updates from Microsoft. Okay, we will have foundation classes, Indra. Foundation classes will generally be over the weekends. Okay, yeah. So I would want you to create a Azure account today. Please create the Azure free account today. Is it mandatory to have Azure certifications to get a job? I don't think so. And even if you have to write the certification, it is not a very difficult job because we speak about many things. My recommendation would be when your company is refunding you, or they give you what do you call refund once you clear the certification, then attempt it. You might not require a certification to get a Azure job. Okay. Will you cover apps migration to use to Azure use cases? Dheeraj, it works in this way. Apps which are running in virtual machine, yes. Apps which are running in Docker containers, yes. Right? But apps from different clouds like Cloud Foundry into Azure, no. Okay, that's how it works. Yeah. All old students are also included in this class. Okay, I'm not sure whether all old students are included or not, but when I'm telling something new, then they will be included. Today whatever I have said is not new stuff. Yeah. Apps on premises, yes, on premises, but running where? On your servers. That is already that will be included. Yeah. Are we going to discuss about solution architect or developer or admin? Our focus will be on solution architect and admin for 60 days of our course, and for the 15 days of our course we speak about developer. So you can put it in this way: 80% of our course is all about architecture and administration. When will be the classes for old students? Man, old students, there is no different class. When I am trying to tell an extra topic, if I think that I have not covered into the old students, then they will get a link somehow. Why are you worried about old students, sir? Focus on what is happening to you right now. Okay, that is my problem. How do I communicate with the old students? మీరు దయచేసి దాన్ని కూడా ఆలోచించొద్దు. అది అది నా తలనొప్పి కదా. Yeah. Okay, guys. So we'll continue this discussion tomorrow. And today I would, as I said, today just ensure that you create an account, play with the UI, right? So and watch those two videos. Our classroom notes will be available in directdevops.blog by 11 o'clock. When you click on here, click on menu and Azure classroom notes, you can do this. And here are the social icons. If you want to connect to me, you can connect to me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, right? And on YouTube I'll be basically uploading some of the content which will be useful to you guys. Okay, right, man. Thanks for your time.